Hi, welcome back to Create Live, my creatives. We are going to jump into it with Stampin' Up and talk about a few fun things that are happening right now. To get started, we are going to play with stamps and our Stampin' Write markers and the blender pens. We're going to be using a couple of the subtle markers, and then a couple colors out of the neutrals collection for those Stampin' Write markers. I'm so excited to jump into this and play with these. Honestly, this is my first time. You're going to experience this with me for the first time. When I was picking these out, I was trying to figure out what colors to get along with the cardstock I was getting when I recently signed up during this current celebration period, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I ended up picking out the same colors in the markers as cardstock, which is kind of funny because I like to have a collection of everything that we have. But I use both of these shades so often in stuff that I make. And I thought the subtle collection will go great for spring as we leave winter and head into spring and enjoy some more fun colors. But the neutrals are honestly colors that I use all the time. And for being a person that loves color, it still amazes myself. So to get started, like I mentioned, we're going to use a couple of colors from both the subtles and the neutrals. So I thought I'd walk through that real quick. I use these to kind of help match up colors when I'm working on things. So we've got our copper clay, our boho blue, and then our blackberry bliss. This is just helpful for me. It's like using a color wheel. Sometimes when I'm working on cards in my other business, it's just helpful to be able to make sure I'm using colors that all go together because I love a ton of color and I want to make sure that things don't clash. So within our subtles, we're going to be using Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, and Fresh Freesia. One of the things that I wanted to also touch base with really quick is each of these colors, they match the same on both. Hopefully you can see this. They match the same, literally whatever products you're using when Stampin' Up, that same shade is going to match. So we're going to get to lay these side by side when they're on physical paper and match them up, which is just so wonderful. Let me look at something here. So I just wanted to point that out. I love the fact that whether it's ribbon, whether it's sequins, no matter what it is, cardstock, it all matches up. So that's all wonderful. I did try to pull colors today within 2 stamp sets that I really want us to be able to chat about that are just really special to me. The first stamp set, it's already stamped. It's in our spring catalog. It's our storybook collection, storybook moments. Of course, you may notice some familiar characters, being that it is Peter Rabbit themed. While we're talking about that, I'm going to grab our spring mini catalog that is good through April, the end of April, and just kind of show you some ideas with storybook moments. You can make many different things with Peter Rabbit. This would be great for a baby card or maybe a scrapbook to commemorate a new baby. Great cards, Easter cards. You can even make like a flip through interactive project with this set. And then here's some more. What I love is it does say in this section different ways to color, and it shows off our markers and our blending stuff and different projects that you can do throughout with this. So this is one suite in our spring catalog that I just adore. I saw this and I had to have it the second I saw it. So we're going to set that to the side. The other thing we're using is Handmade Designs. which is part of the SALE-BRATION that is going on right now that ends February 28th. So we've got a couple weeks left from that. And you may have seen the video where I did an unboxing of everything I got when I recently signed back up. And so I actually received these stamps, the handmade design stamps, and a set of the subtle color and the neutral collection for free as a gift of signing up with Stampin' Up. I do just want to mention that you know, this promotion, it does end at the end of February this month. So if that is something you've considered, you want to be a hobbyist and you love a discount on quality stamp supplies, card making supplies, scrapbooking supplies, let me know. Send me a message, send me an email, send me a comment so we can get you taken care of before February ends. So when you sign up with Stampin' Up, you get in addition to this set that's free, you get $125 in retail worth of supplies, and you only pay $99. There also is free shipping as a brand new consultant when you sign up or you re-sign up, and you get to choose what you want. So I chose these because, I mean, why would I not, for these colors? The stamp set is gorgeous. I love the handmade by. How often do we make a card and we just want to add our little artistic signature on the back? So I think that's wonderful. In addition to that, of course, I got the storybook set because why not? And I added on paper later also that I needed in addition to that. But I got started with the storybook moments because it's just gorgeous and it screams spring and Easter for me. The other thing is in our SALE-BRATION catalog, if you purchase multiple orders after you become a consultant, or you just want to reload up on your Stampin' Up products, you are able to qualify for free stuff on top of that outside of when you sign up for being a consultant because of the additional savings that you already have. So you can choose this card kit that's free once you place an order of $60. So there's multiple things in here that you can qualify for. The one thing in this SALE-BRATION book that I love is it'll tell you if there's a set in here that coordinates with a product that we already have in our spring catalog or our regular catalog. So little tidbit about that. If you want more information, let me know. There is some stuff in here I feel like would coordinate with that storybook moment set, but we're going to get into it. So I've already stamped our Peter Rabbit friends, and then we are going to go ahead and stamp some of these. I do want to leave thank you so very much off to the side, and we're going to come back to that one. These don't have a die set, so when I use these, I'll have to fussy cut, but that'll be okay. This is a larger block. I did want to show you how large our blocks can be. The nice thing about this block is they have siding on them to be able to actually hold them when you stamp down. You don't need this big of a block when you're stamping smaller images. I just happened to pull it out to give you a reference. So we've got our stamp on here. I'm going to grab some copper clay. And then I'm just going to pat down lightly. That is more than enough. And then I flip it over and give it a little bit of pressure. Make sure it's cemented. And there we have it. I'm gonna grab my bucket that I love to just put stamps in to make sure nothing is getting dirty. I don't want ink touching anything it should not be touching. Let me see. Nope. And I love to be able to save paper if I can, to be able to reuse and maximize my space. So Put that where we want it. The other thing that you can do is line up your stamp on your glass board because of the grid that's on there. Because we're lining it up very particularly on our cardstock, we're not doing that this time. All right, so line it up and then give it pressure. You don't want to roll your stamp as you're giving it some pressure, otherwise you'll get ink on all sides of things that you do not want ink on. Carefully pulling up my stamp, putting it in my bucket. And then, as you can see, I'm using literally scrap paper that I hold on to after I'm done with projects. So handmade by would typically go on the back of our card, but just for an example today, I want to make sure I've got ink on those petals. There we go. Now we are ready to also color these if we want. I'm going to close this up and we are going to get into thank you very much real quick. I'm going to put this paper just off to the side and then I'm going to line this up ever so carefully. Put it on my huge stamp block that we should have sized down on. And then if you're not familiar, this part makes me so excited. If you're not familiar, you can use your Stampin' Up Stampin' Right markers on your stamp pad to add different color and maybe even some watercolor effects with it. So you'll need these, your stamp pad, your stamp, and we're gonna get into it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 words and 3 colors. So there's 2 sides of your Stampin' Right markers. We're going to use the more wider brushed side. And then I'm gonna just stroke down or to the side. I wanna make sure to be kind to that nice brand new tip that's on there. You can go out to the side or up. You just want to make sure not to get your the sides of your stamp because it will transfer. We're going to use our subtles on this today too, I think. All right, so I've used Blackberry Bliss, Misty Moonlight, and Pecan Pie for our neutrals. And then we're gonna add in some color that is so much needed on everything. Adding in Lemon Lolly. Adding in Lost Lagoon. Actually, we're going to, yes, we are going to use Lost Lagoon. Okay, one last step. 2 last steps actually. Pull over your cardstock again, and then one thing that you do is it sounds silly, but you breathe onto your ink, onto your stamp where you've inked it because it reactivates that color. So, and then press down, give it some good pressure. And I still need to work on that skill, but it looks something like that. Now we could go back in and color and add in the pieces that didn't come off. I could also try to re-put this down. I probably could have used more pressure from my markers. So there you have it, live. So I'm going to just put that to the side, and then we're going to get started coloring with our blender pen and our Stampin' Write markers. To get started, I think I'm going to start with these little flowers that are in our handmade by. And I'm just going to come through and give them some color. You can make them all one color or a different color, or even leave them blank. Going in with subtle colors now. What I thought may be fun is some of them being a little blended with our blender pen. Something like that. Now, I do want to say you do want to clean that up each time to make sure that that color doesn't affect your other things. So I'll just place that to the side. Let's use our pecan pie to just see that difference of the brown. And you can see, I would say the pecan pie, it looks like there's a little more red in that brown. Going in with our Misty Moonlight. I love this shade of blue. I use it quite often, actually. There's a program that I created, and I had to remind myself to use more than just this color because I apparently really enjoy it. Do another one here. And then let's add in our lemon lolly, just to add some spruced up color. And then we will go in with our blender pen. Let's lighten up the middle of our blue flower. And then I'm just going to wipe this off to make sure we are all good. So that's kind of what that would look like. And then let's go into, I believe this is a fig tree. So let's do something fun here. Let's see. Let's go around the edges of our tree plant bush thing here with yellow. I'm going to go in on the veins. And I'm just going to give it a light amount. You can go in with a thicker amount. I am going to go in after I color it with our main color with our blender pen. And I would love to hear if you had this stamp set or received it, how would you use a stamp set? And what the heck, let's just go in here on the bottom and color this planter. That's actually really fun. All right, so we're gonna go in with our Lost Lagoon and just kind of finish up around those blank areas. Okay, so there we have it on that. And then again, I'm just going in with our blender pen to blend the yellow and the green together. And I will say you should use a thicker cardstock when you are using your blender pens. Just to make sure you don't tear the paper because of the moisture that we're adding in. Okay. There is that. Can you see where the blender pen was used? It did pull out the yellow on this leaf from the blender pen when I used it across the middle. And then we're gonna jump into this flower. Let's have some fun. What if we did layer by layer? I am definitely all for going dark and then light, dark, light. I'm not sure if we will use our blender pen, just kind of thinking of how I want to go on our next step when we get done. You could even go in here and just color those areas and then leave some open space. Like that. And I think I'm going to go back in with our yellow with our lemony yellow. Lemony lolly, my apologies. Okay, let's try a little bit of a blender pen in between these two purple colors. Oh, that's fun. That kind of gives it a little bit of a watercolory feel. Pulling the darker color into the lighter one gives us that blended look. There you go. And then we're gonna just clean our pen or our blender marker. I'm gonna do the same thing with our yellow back here with the darker purple or our Blackberry Bliss. Cleaning our blender pen to make sure we keep everything clean. What do you think so far? Would you use the blender pens or the blender with your Stampin' Right marker? Now, if I can help myself, we are going to try and color this without using our blender pen. But actually, real quick before we do that, let's jump into these colors. So here are our colors on cardstock, and then here are our colors that we use with the markers. Do you see how nicely those literally line up with the colors that we're using? Hopefully you can see that. But just so you have an idea. I have other colors wanting to join the party today. Okay, so you know what? Let's start with this little house over here. I love it. Jumping in with some Lagoon. Lost Lagoon. We're going to just color the grass. And I'm just going in the same motion of how it is on, how the stamp was, to just add to that texture. I'm going to go up here in the roof and do the same thing. And then let's color our windows yellow and our door. And go in with our Misty Moonlight for the house color. And then I think we're going to go in with Fresh Freesia for the roof because that would be so fun. And there you have it. So instead of just stamping, you can elevate your stamp even more with coloring it. The next one I want to do is this cute girl bunny. And we're going to do some subtles. I want to make her little dress just brown. Let's see. We're going to use our Blackberry Bliss on the detail of her dress on the collar. And then I'm going to go in on her dress and use this color for the accent marks on her dress. And then we're going to make the bunny herself. We're going to color her with Fresh Freesia because she's a girl bunny. You wanted to mute her pink down just a little bit, you could use the blender pen. I think we'll leave her like that though. And then let's do good old Mr. Peter Rabbit with some Lost Lagoon. We're gonna give his bow tie some Lost Lagoon. We'll give his ear accent pieces some Lost Lagoon. Give his whiskers some Lost Lagoon. His little eyes, the detail on his face. Let's just give all of his details some Lost Lagoon. And his tail. And then let's see. I'm going to grab another color from our neutrals. I just grabbed our Great Granite, and we're going to go in with that for his body. Just to give some good coloring. Let's see about something. I believe you can use, I got some on the outside of, you can also use your blender pen to correct some coloring if you get outside of the line. And then I'm going to just clean up our pen over here, our blender pen or marker. Just like that. And then I love this little guy. He's got like a flower or a piece of wheat in his hand. So we're going to get to play with that a little bit. I'm going to give his little flower piece over here some purple. And then sit. Sit. Stay. Stay. Leave, buddy. Don't be mean. Okay, so I think his jacket should be Lost Lagoon. In fact, when I worked on this guy in a card the other day, his entire figure was a color like this. And then let's see. Let's use some Misty Moonlight in his pocket on the jacket, and then we'll give his body some Lost Lagoon. And then we're going to give his hands Lost Lagoon. I am going to go in, I think, on his hands and lighten those up just a little bit. And maybe his eye and nose area. That is a little darker. That way we can still have his little accent pieces showing. And then just clean up your pen after. Okay, there you have it. So this has been us talking about our Stampin' Write markers and our blender pen that are available. So this was Storybook Moments and Handmade Designs. And we used our neutrals and our subtle colors for both of these. And just as a reminder, if you have any questions about signing up with Stampin' Up to take advantage of the additional free savings, each marker pack costs $35. So there is quite a bit of savings if you are interested in signing up and earning free product, or signing up and just being a hobbyist during our celebration time. If you are interested in taking a peek further into the mini catalog or the celebration catalog, let me know, send me a message, comment, or email me so we can get those out to you and answer any questions. I am looking forward to growing my team as the time is right. So if you are interested in growing a business or just being a hobbyist with us creative keepsakers, let us know and we would be more than happy to help get you started. I hope you've enjoyed this and we will see you next time.